Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Jossie Annie. As you guys can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about how my house caught on fire and what happened after. So this is going to be a 3-part series. You guys are obviously watching part 1. So the reason why I'm going to be doing 3 parts is because the first part is going to be what happened during the fire, like the day of. And then the second part is going to be what happened after the fire, like where we went, what happened, like what did the insurance tell us, what happened to the house. And then the third part is going to be basically where we're at right now. So this video, I know it took me a very long time to finally post it for you guys. It was really hard for me to make this video, like you guys have no idea, because all of the footage that I'm going to be showing you guys are actual footage that was caught like the day of and actual feelings that we were going through, and I just want to make sure that you guys felt like if you were actually there. And this video is very personal, so that's why it took me a very long time to edit, because I had to pick and choose what parts I wanted to be in the video, which parts I didn't want to be in the video. The whole purpose of this video is to show you guys how no matter what it is that you're going through, God is always going to be by your side, and He always has a plan at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter how big the situation may be, you can feel like you're never gonna get out of this situation. Just know that God is with you and He's in control. And trust me, I've seen it literally firsthand, how God can 100% get in the middle of what's going on and fix it and make sure that all things work together for you. So just remember, if you love God, God's gonna make sure that everything works together for the good of those who love God. Okay, so I'm gonna start by telling you guys that the fire did happen because the AC unit in our house did blow up. No, the AC unit was not old, it was fairly new. It was only like 4 years, I think, and it blew up. The fire literally spread throughout the entire house. It went up the attic and went through the whole entire house. We did make a lot of videos. Well, I didn't personally, because obviously I was like not in my right state of mind. There was just so much going on and so many emotions going on that I didn't even know what to feel. I didn't know how to think. I didn't know how to act. Honestly, it felt like it didn't even happen. It felt like I was in a dream. It was pretty traumatizing, to say the least. So I'm gonna start off with what happened the day before the fire, and then I'll tell you guys what happened the day of the fire. Okay, so the day before the fire, I was at a friend's house and I was on my way home, and it was about 12 a.m. so technically the day of the fire. And I'm one of those weird people that don't like to listen to music while I'm driving. I just like complete silence. I like to have the windows down. I like the wind to be blowing at me, and I just like to be in my own thoughts and just be like in complete silence. So that's exactly what I was doing. I was driving home in complete silence, windows down, in my own thoughts, and I just started to sing random songs that popped into my head. I wasn't even paying attention to the songs I was singing. I was just kind of singing, you know, making remixes and basically just entertaining myself. Whatever songs popped into my head, I would just start singing. So the reason why I'm telling you guys what happened the day before is because it plays a big role in the whole story and how God told me that the fire was gonna happen before it happened. I know it sounds crazy. He didn't say, "Jocelyn, there's going to be a fire in your house." No, he didn't say it like that. But he did tell me in a way where I was able to understand. Basically, how he told me was, I started to sing a specific song that I have only heard once in my life. And the song is called "This Is How I Fight My Battles." And for those of you who don't know the song, it goes like this. This is how I fight my battles. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This is how I fight my battles. And it is a worship song, and for those of you guys probably wondering what the heck does this song have to do with anything. So 2 months before the day that I was singing it, I have only heard it once in my life, and it was at a church service that a friend invited me to. And her pastor told us that if we ever catch ourselves singing that song, it's because something big is gonna happen, but to stay still and to know that God is in control of it all, and that no matter what it is that you're facing, you're gonna be able to get through the battle with Christ in the middle, and that God is gonna be with you through the situation of whatever it is. I'm not saying that every single time you sing that song something bad's gonna happen. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying personally, in my experience of what happened to me, this is what happened. You know, this is my testimony, you know. So it won't make sense in the natural, but this was kind of happening, you know, in the spirit, you know. So basically he said that, and then rewind to 2 months later, in my car at 12 a.m. the day of the fire, I started singing that song. And remember, I have only heard that song once, and it was the day that I went to that service. I've only sang that song once, and it was the day that I went to that service. And it just so happens that the day of the fire, I start singing that song randomly, and I didn't even notice I was singing it. I was just jamming in my car, just, you know, this is how I find my battles. This is how I find my battles. And I remember pulling into the driveway of my house, and then I was actually conscious of what I was singing, and I was like, oh my gosh. I promise, I was holding the steering wheel, and I put my head down on the steering wheel, and I literally was like, oh my gosh, God, what is gonna happen that I'm singing this song? What is it that I'm gonna go through that you're reminding me that you're gonna be with me through this? And I just remember I knew something was gonna happen big. I didn't know exactly what it was because he didn't tell me exactly what it was, but he did warn me that something big was gonna happen, but to just stay still and know that he's in control. Then the morning of the fire, I woke up, I was feeling like in a weird mood. I wanted to stay home. I had a big cold sore on my lip. I was feeling gross, ugly, everything, you name it. And I remember just wanting to stay home. And I remember telling myself, I was like, I'm not going anywhere today. I'm staying right here on my bed. I'm gonna edit YouTube videos and I'm gonna post something for you guys. While I'm sitting on my bed, you know, completely comfortable on my computer, I get a phone call from my best friend Claudia. She calls me and she's like, hey Josie, what are you doing? I was like, nothing, just hang out, whatever. I'm about to edit a video. She's like, me and my sister are gonna go to the mall. Do you wanna come with us? And I was like, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna stay home. I'm not feeling good right now. I'm just gonna chill at home. And she was like, okay, whatever. So then basically the conversation ended. We ended at, I was not gonna go to the mall with her. That's it. We didn't talk anymore. We didn't talk any less. And tell me how I was in the kitchen preparing food for me and my husband before he went to work. And I look outside my window and she literally pulls up in my driveway. And my husband's like, I thought you said you weren't going to go with Claudia to the mall. I was like, I wasn't. I don't know why she's here. She just showed up. So tell me how this girl walks into the house and she was like, I don't care. If you don't want to go anywhere, you're coming with me to the mall. You're not going to stay here. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I feel like poop. I look ugly. This and that. She's like, you look fine. Just brush your hair, get dressed. You're coming with us. So she literally dragged me out of the house. So at this point, my husband's out of the house. He went to work. I left the house to go to the mall. My grandma was also dragged out of the house by her best friend, which was super crazy. Like literally God sent them as angels to take us out of the house because of what was gonna happen. While we were at the mall, we got very hungry and we decided to sit down and eat. And not even 10 minutes into our meal, I got a phone call on my Apple Watch from my cousin Jackie, and I remember answering it while we were on the table about to get our food, and I just hear screaming and crying in the background. I didn't understand anything she was saying. I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, yo, relax, like I don't understand you, speak calmly, and I don't get what you're saying. And she was literally like, Jossie, your house is on fire. Your entire house is on fire. Where are you? Where is your grandma? And literally, my whole entire body went white. Like, whoever was looking at me, like, all the color of my face completely left. All the air in my body, like, completely left. And I just remembering, like, blocking out the natural world, like, my natural flesh. And I just went straight into the spirit. And I remember connecting the dots. I was like, oh my gosh. Yesterday when I was in the car, I started to sing This Is How I Fight My Battle. And God was telling me that something was going to happen, but I didn't know what was going to happen. And the fire is what was going to happen. I just remember connecting all the dots. So in the natural, I was literally like in complete shock. But in the spirit, I was like connecting the dots. I was completely calm. I knew that God was in control. But then once I snapped back into it, I just remember like crying. And I was like, my house is on fire. We have to go. And I was just in panic mode. I was like, we have to go. We have to get out of here. We have to figure out where my grandma's at. And I'm calling my grandma like crazy, and she's not answering. So that already has me worried. I found out that my entire house is on fire. My grandma's not answering the phone. No one knows where she's at. I just remember going through so many emotions. I didn't even know how to think. I just completely blacked out. If it weren't for my best friend Claudia, I don't even know if I would be here. So God bless her. Seriously, like, Claudia, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you so much for being with me during that time. Like, girl, she knows I was going through it, and I was just crying and screaming and hysterical. Like, I was just not there. I didn't know where I was at. I didn't know how to get home. Like, that day was so crazy. So when we finally got to the house, there's a bunch of fire trucks. I see my grandma sitting on a chair. The firefighters are taking her blood pressure, making sure that she's breathing okay. And I just remember running straight to her. I hugged her, and the first thing that I did was pray. I was like, we're gonna pray. So I held her hand and I just started to pray. because I knew at that moment I needed to cry out to God and ask him to give me strength. As a human being, going through something like that is really hard, and it's really easy to just get off track and like lose yourself. And I remember that I was like, I need to pray with my grandma. I need to make sure that she's okay. And I need to remind her that God is in control and God is going to be here for us no matter what. After we prayed, we were there for some time. Everything was kind of cooling down. The firefighters had taken out the fire with the water hose. My dogs were safe, thank God. Brownie and Diesel were inside the house during the fire. Brownie was throwing up everywhere. She was doing diarrhea on herself at the same time. That's what the firefighters were telling me, that she was pooping and vomiting at the same time, and that when they broke open the door, that Diesel went running out and he got lost in my neighborhood. And thank God for my other friend Tayara. She came while everything was happening because I told her what was happening, and she literally, I don't know how she made it to my house because she's only been to my house once, and she didn't have a GPS or anything, and she was able to figure out her way to the house. I honestly believe that God's angels were like guiding her to my house, because she doesn't even know how she made it there. And on top of the fact that she made it there without a GPS, she also found my dog and brought him back to the house, which God bless her for that as well.
Your dogs are okay?
My dogs are okay. She was hiding underneath my couch. She literally vomited and pooped all over herself because of how nervous she was. And yeah, a fireman rescued her. So Brownie and Diesel were safe. They were completely traumatized, you can tell by their face. Also, on the way to the house from the mall, I called my husband and I told him that the house was on fire, and he freaked out. He made it there way before I did, so you already know he was doing some illegal driving. Thank God that he is safe. Literally, God's angels protected him as well. Because, and something crazy that happened while we were waiting for the firefighters to give us the go to check out the house is that while we were standing there, my friend Tayara was like, I just saw a white dove come out of your house, Jossie. And I was like, what? And she was like, I literally just saw a white dove fly out of your house. And honestly, to me, that was a reminder that God was telling me, I'm here and there's no need to worry. Like, when she told me that, I felt at complete peace, because God's spirit shows himself in the form of a dove. So when she said that, I was like, wow, God, like, you are so good. Even in the midst of disaster, even in the midst of the craziness going on right now, you're still here. Honestly, this whole experience, even though it was traumatizing, I learned so much from it, and I learned that I can trust God no matter what I'm going through, because he's always going to take me out of it. And I just hope that this video shows you guys that no matter what you're going through, God will always make a way, and he will take you out of it as well. So when we had got there, everyone was telling us that my grandma's side was way worse than my side, that my side was just water damage and smoke damage. So I had already mentally prepared myself that not much happened to my side of the house, but I wasn't mentally prepared to see what had happened on my grandma's side of the house. And that is the house that I was raised at, so you can just imagine. I have been there since I was a little girl, so you can just imagine seeing your house like completely destroyed. And for me, that was super crazy, and I will never forget that. And the most crazy thing about it is that everything got damaged except my grandma's office. It was 100% intact. There was just water on the floor, but all her documents, everything for her business was 100% intact. And to me, that is the freaking greatest testimony ever, because her house was on fire, and even through the flames, God still protected her business. And as well as for me, the night before, I had packed all my makeup, I cleaned all my brushes, and I had everything in a luggage because I had a makeup appointment to do the day of the fire. And it just so happens that they canceled on me the day of the fire. I'm so happy, because the appointment was going to be really far, and if I found out that my house was on fire and I was so far out, God knows what would have happened. So I believe that that appointment was canceled on purpose by God, like, so that I would be safe during this whole, this whole thing. And even though she canceled on me, she still paid me, so God bless her for that, because we really needed it. And it was just so crazy that all my makeup was in a luggage, and my business and my grandma's business was 100% intact. Nothing happened to it. Like, God is so good, man. So basically, that's everything that happened that day. We were able to see the house. They shut down the house. They were saying that the smoke was very bad for your lungs and that we shouldn't be in there for long. So we were able to see the house, see all the damage that happened, take out some of the stuff that wasn't damaged. And obviously we had to throw away our couch, we had to throw away our bed, we had to throw away, our towels, our blankets, everything that absorbed water and absorbed the smoke, we had to throw it out. and start brand new. But yeah guys, I hope that cleared up everything that's going on. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2 and part 3. I'll make sure to keep you guys posted on that on my Instagram. So if you haven't followed me, I'll go ahead and put my Instagram name right here. It's just like my YouTube name, is Jossie Annie. Make sure to follow me on that. That's where I keep you guys up to date on what videos I'm going to post and what's going on my personal life. So the videos that I'm about to show you guys are live videos and like in the moment videos. So when you guys see my reaction to seeing the house, that was my initial reaction. Like that was my first time ever seeing the house, my first time seeing the damage in the inside. So I tried to keep it to a minimum where I only showed you guys certain clips, because like I said in the very beginning, this video is very personal and I didn't want to put too much in it, but I wanted to put enough where you guys felt like you were there with us. So thank you so much for watching and listening to me. But thank you all so much for your constant love and support. Mwah. Besito. Bye.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay.
Come back with me.
There's not a lot of bright lights.
The first impression is disgusting because that's where it happened. But this is very
Marina Palm residence condos, 131
Went up the walls, and then all the way into the ceiling. See where it burned all the way up? Yeah. So it went all the way up. Once it got into the attic, it went through the whole house. The thing is, once it gets all the smoke and it starts getting filled, it's gonna go all the way through. That's why it was coming throughout all the eaves, all around the house. So it looked like the whole house, the top of the roof, or the top of the house was on fire. We don't recommend anybody stays or lives in here. The office is good.
The office is good?
He's good?
Yeah, the office is good.
Okay.
Is there water on the floor there?
Yeah.
Everything's in time. Oh my god.
I told you.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Psalms 23 says you're never alone. God is with us. There is no hurt on earth that heaven cannot heal. No circumstance you're going through that God cannot heal. So even though you're in the valley right now, even though you're going through some trying times, God is with you. He's on the throne. He's seated on the highest throne of heaven. And there's nothing that he can't handle. I want to share with you guys, man, this verse that Jesus says. Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls."